Hello guys, so itutuloy ko lang yung sa vector analysis natin. So now we will move on to the integral theorems. So let's begin by discussing yung mga theorems na yun. So magsimulat sa Gauss theorem. So wait. So for Gauss theorem, so for a vector A with continuous first derivative over a simply connected volume and of course in real space R cube, if you have this closed loop integral of vector A dot a particular vector area, pwede siyang matransform into a volume integral, which is just del dot A, or that product ng del and ng vector A. And of course, you would have to have itong d tau, which is the dx dy dc. So ito yung differential volume. So if you have a spherical spherical volume, you can actually have some sort of parang parte noong volume na yun na may surface, and that is equivalent to d sigma. And then yung d tau is yung buong volume na yun. Okay? Yung d sigma actually could be written as just the surface, pero you have to multiply by n hat. So this is a vector, of course. This is a vector too. Okay? So tuloy ko lang. Ngayon, yan yung Gauss theorem. Bakit siya ganun ka-importante? Bakit siya importante? Kasi sometimes, alam naman natin kapag nag-integrate tayo ng mga functions depende sa form, mahirap siyang isolve, di ba? So kung titingnan nyo, itong loop integral na to sa surface, or denoted by delta V, dalawang beses integral to kasi parang area, di ba? Sometimes may mga form na mahirap gawin yan. Ngayon, kung titingnan nyo itong sa right side, you have a del dot A, meaning you will have to get yung derivative per direction, like I hat, j hat, and k hat. And magkakaroon ka ng hiwa-hiwalay na tatlong integral. And sometimes, mas madali siyang isolve ng gano'n. Okay? So, this is important din nga kapag nasasolve kayo sa classical electrodynamics or even in classical physics, or sorry, classical mechanics. Okay? So, basically, ang ginagawa ng Gauss theorem, it relates to divergence. So, in divergence ng vector, throughout the volume to the flux of the vector through the surface. So, yung divergence, ito yun, di ba? Oops, sorry. You have the divergence here. And so, through a volume, so you have this. And, nire-relate siya sa yung vector, flux for that matter, noong vector doon sa surface. Okay? So, here. So ngayon, yung kung ang volume mo daw, if the volume is all, yung meaning yung buong real space, meaning ang boundary niya ay infinity, yung integral na ito, na integral of del dot A d tau is just equal to 0. Okay? Bakit? Alamin niyo, siguro tandaan niyo pa ang meaning ng divergence, di ba? Kukunin mo yung directional derivative per component. So, ayan, kung infinity yung boundary, syempre, di ba dapat rate of change? So, parang wala namang mag-change na. Okay? Ngayon, kung isusulat mo ng term by term, itong integral na to, you would have, of course, partial A x. Of course, assuming na ang A natin has ax I hat plus ay j hat plus az k hat. So, magiging ganito yung form ng that product. And of course, yan, ito yan. So, magkakaroon ka ng tatlong integral. Alright? So, that's the Gauss theorem. Now, let's move on to Green's theorem. So, Green's theorem, so assume you have two scalar functions, u and v here. Ang integral ng, volume integral ng u del squared v minus v del squared u d tau can be transformed into a surface integral. So you have here, which is just u del v minus v del u dot yung surface vector infinitesimal infinitesimal surface element. Okay, so kung titingnan nyo, again, tingnan nyo itong nasa right hand side o left hand side. Yung del squared v is a quantity na kailangan nyo makuha through twice na paggamit ng del. So, or second derivative yung mangyayari. And sometimes this is more complicated, diba? So, kung titingnan nyo rin, del squared v and del squared u will give you a scalar quantity. Okay? Kaya itong d tau natin is naka-multiply lang normally. Whereas itong nasa right hand side, you can see na yung del v and del u will actually give you a vector. Kaya nakadot ito ha. So, vector ang ibibigay sa'yo ng del na i-multiply mo lang normally with a scalar function. Okay? So, let's try to prove itong equation na to. So, let's begin by using this particular expression. So, you have del, itatat natin siya sa u del v. Okay? Ngayon, siyempre, yung kung del siya, itatat mo, pwede natin isa-isahin, no? Yung una, you have to del yung green. So, you have del dot del v. So, magiging del squared v. Of course, isulat mo lang yung u, di ba? And then, ngayon, constant naman yung del v. So, you have del dot u. You have, and then, sorry, del u dot del v. Okay? So, note, kapag meron ka scalar function, scalar f and vector a, kapag kinuha mo yung divergence niya, magiging, syempre parang normal derivative lang, of course, pero kailangan mong i-note yung direction. So, you have, mangyayari dito, ikukuha mo muna yung kabila. So, you have f del dot a plus del f dot a. So, by comparison, pwede nyong palitan yung u as f and then yung a as del v. And similarly, gamitin naman natin yung opposite niya. So, we have So, we have ito naman. So, kanina, u del v. Ngayon naman, v del u. So, kung ulit yung divergence niya, and ganun din. Mangyayari naman sa kanya is v del squared u plus del v dot del u. So, ngayon, if you can see, yung unang equation natin, 1 and 1, saka 2, nandun yung hinahanap natin. So, we have del squared, u del squared v and v del squared u. Ngayon, to get the difference, of course, kailangan mo lang i-express itong dalawang equation na to in terms of those del squared. So, mangyayari dyan is, wait lang. Papalitan mo lang. Okay? So, using 1 and 2, we will have del dot u del v minus del u dot del v. So, ito yung sa unang expression. And then, minus nung sumunod ito. Okay? So, ito kasi yun, di ba? So, i-minus mo siya dito. So, you have del dot v del u minus del v dot del u. Okay? So, as you can see from here, may maka-cancel na term. So, ito, at saka ito. Cancel out sila. Matitira na lang sa iyo yung dalawang term na natira. So, next, kasunod niya ay, so yan. So, now you will have this expression. So, pwede natin i-factor out actually yung del. So, mangyayari dyan is, you have del dot itong dalawang quantity na to. And of course, again, del v and del u will give you a vector. And of course, kaya nakadat yan. Yan, assume natin na ito is just vector a. You can have this expression. So, volume integral of del dot a theta. Okay? Ayan, gamitin natin yung Gauss theorem. Using Gauss theorem, from volume integral to surface integral, mangyayari dyan is, ganito na lang siya. So, surface integral ng a dot del sigma. And balik lang natin yung pinalit natin na, sorry, yung inassume na, sorry, nilet natin yung A as this particular quantity. And mangyayari dyan is, ganito na lang. So you have to, babalik mo lang, i-multiply mo lang ulit yung del here. Okay, sa isa. So mangyayari, mag-ooperate yung del mo ay sa del din. So hindi siya dito. So now you have u del squared v minus v del squared u. And then palitan mo lang din to, you have this. So therefore, this is the exact equation ng Green's theorem. Of course, may alternative form din siya. You can actually separate yung volume. Sorry, you can actually separate yung integral into similar terms. So for example, kung gusto mo makuha yung integral ng u del v, which is ito, kukunin mo lang din yung kabilang side niya. So magiging lang siyang u del squared b plus del u dot del v. So yan alternative form lang niya. Okay? So those are the Gauss theorem and Green's theorem. Now, tingnan naman natin yung Gauss theorem for gradient and curl. So before, we already discussed kung ano ibig sabihin ng gradient. Of course, gradient is del times a scalar. The curl is just yung cross product ng del and another vector. So pwede nating isulat ang Gauss theorem in terms na dalawang version. We have gradient version and scalar. Curl version. So for example, if you have a scalar function, you have a scalar function here, b as a function of x, y, and z, pwede mo siyang isulat as ganito. So instead na idadat mo, hindi na lang. So you have the surface integral of b d sigma is just equal to the volume integral of del b d tau. So ganyan na lang siya, normal na lang. And for curl naman, we have, assuming we have a vector p, kung kukunin mo yung surface integral niya, so d sigma cross p is just equal to del cross p d tau. So yan yung kailangan nyo tandaan ng mga equation. Okay? So itong dalawang to, of course, you have to prove sometimes, lalo na kapag may ibang kailangan kayong isolve na integral. So let's say ito yung mga pwede natin gawin. So mag-let muna tayo ng vector f as an arbitrary vector na constant yung magnitude and direction. So constant lang siya. Okay? Constant lang yung value niya. So wala lang siya. Parang vector pa rin siya, of course, pero syempre hindi siya ganun kakomplikado. Okay? So of course, if you have a vector b sa function of x, y, and z, pwede natin express as scalar b na na-multiply doon sa vector. Actually, pwede nyo i-imagine this is just unit vector, yung parang ganun. Pwede siyang i-treat as unit vector. Of course, not in general. Di ba, any scalar quantity may unit vector, magiging vector siya. Alright? So basically, yung b mo is just now the scalar b times the vector f. So pwede mo nang i-gamitan siya sa kunin mo yung divergence niya. So you have del dot b f is just equal to, so i-distribute mo lang, so you have two terms. So you have del b dot f plus b dot b times del dot f. Since f is a constant, of course, ang derivative niya is 0. So wala lang yan. Okay? So ngayon, matitira na lang itong isang term na to. Now you have del dot b d tau is just equal to volume integral. Itong nasa kabilang to. So you have del b dot f d tau. So, ang mangyayari ngayon, pwede mo na i-convert into using Gauss theorem. So you have, of course, imagine nyo lang na isang vector to, no? So you have b f dot d sigma is equal to, since constant lang yung f, pwede mo i-factor out yan. So f dot del b d tau. Okay? Ngayon, from that, constant naman yung f mo. So, pwede mong i-factor out yan. So, di ba naka-dot product dito and here. Of course, dito nakahiwalay na talaga. Dito pwede mong pa ilabas. So, now you have f dot integral nito, surface integral ng b d sigma is equal to f dot volume integral ng del B d tau. And ngayon, pwede mong i-factor out yung, pwede mong mag-subtract ng same quantity nito dun sa left-hand side. And now you have this quantity. So, equals to 0 yan. And you can factor out yung vector F. So, ngayon, since arbitrary lang naman yung F, ang pwede lang maging 0 dyan, of course, is yung, arbitrary constant, di ba? Pwede mag-0 lang dyan is itong integral na ito, itong dalawang integral. So now you have surface integral ng B d sigma minus del V, volume integral ng del B d tau, which is equal to 0. Ngayon, add mo ng both side nitong term na to, and you will have itong expression na to, which is the gradient version ng Gauss theorem. Okay? So, now, tapos na natin yung dalawang theorems. Now we have, tinatawag naman natin na Stokes theorem. So, Stokes theorem, siguro narinig na to. This actually, I think kung nagsa 102, hindi ko sure kung natapos niya, pero magiging familiar kayo dito kasi pwede itong nabitin sa, sa electrodynamics. Sorry, more commonly used. Okay? So Stokes theorem states that if you have a vector B, kukunin mo yung surface integral niya. So you have a B dot dr is just equal to the curl, integral ng curl ng B dot d sigma. So imagine nyo, if you have a surface here, S, of course there's a normal vector n hat here. There's of course yung differential areas ng surface, so dA, and actually d sigma is just n hat times dA. So pwede mong isum yung buong surface mo using those lots of dA, and yung itong curve delta na to, delta S is the loop, so paikot siya. Ayan, kaya may arrow dito. So yung pag-integrate mo dito is pag ganyan. Okay, whereas kapag nag-integrate ka naman dito, you integrate yung surface, which is itong mga to, sigma, given by this expression. Okay, so ang ginagawa ng Stokes theorem, it relates the curl of a vector, which is this one, over surface, so ito yung surface na, to the line integral around the perimeter. So ito, line integral na lang itong side nito. So pa-loop, ganyan. Alright, so tandaan nyo, kapag yung sign ng integral mo ay nagbabago kapag itong direction mo is pa ganyan, kapag pinabalitan mo yung direction, of course, yung sign ng integral ay mag-iiba. That's very important. Okay? So, for a closed surface, there is no perimeter. Oh, siyempre, imagine parang sphere. Okay? Along to which to integrate. So, ibig sabihin, kung walang surface, yung curl mo, so integral ng curl, so you have del cross B dot T sigma is just 0. Okay? And similar sa Gauss theorem, you have the gradient and curl version also. So ang gradient version niya is just integral nung del sigma cross, of course, gradient to, di ba? You have del phi, which is just a scalar function, will just be equal to the surface loop integral ng del dr. And yung curl version naman niya is you have vector p, it's just d sigma cross del cross p. Unahin mo na to before this one. And this is just equal to the cross product of dr and p. Of course, loop integral na siya. Okay? So again, ulitin ko, sometimes mas madali kasi mag-integral ng line or surface, vice versa. So sometimes you have to use these theorems. Okay? Okay, example. So, kung pamilya kayo sa Ørsted law, so basically, ito ay related sa magnetism. Of course, in current din. Siyempre, ano ba nangyayari sa moving current? Nagpuproduce siya ng magnetic field, di ba? So, consider a wire carrying a time-independent current I. So, ito yung wire. Ito yung current I niya. And of course, we can consider a loop surface here. So, yung loop natin is del del S, and then yung surface natin is S here. And dadaan doon yung current. So recall one of Maxwell's equation, if we have del cross B or curl ng B is just equal to 1 over C squared, partial derivative of electric field with respect to time plus mu naught J. So J is the current vector, so current density. So since yung current natin is time independent as the example, pwede natin cancel nito. So ibig sabihin wala siyang dependent sa time. So yung partial derivative nito is 0. So matitira na lang sa del cross B is just mu naught J. So pwede natin i-express yung J as 1 over mu naught times del cross B. Okay? So note the definition ng current. So ang definition ng current kasi is just yung current, yung amount ng current, diba, current density siya, na dumadaan sa isang surface. So let's assume ito yung surface na yun, and of course the sigma is just yung unit surface niyan, and you have to just get the dot product. Okay, so idadat mo lang yung bawat isa. So now you have 1 over mu naught integral, surface integral siya, ng del cross B dot T sigma. So using Stokes theorem, so from here, di ba cross product siya, it can be transformed into a loop or line integral. So magiging na siyang 1 over mu naught, first constant lang to, magiging na lang siyang B dot TR. Ito yung Ørsted law. Alright? Bakit mas madali itong isolve? Tingnan nyo to. Curl ito, di ba? So you have to get the determinant, solve ka pa niyan, di ba? And you have ilang terms pa. Kung idadat product mo lang, 3 terms lang yan. Di ba? And mas madali, hindi ka na mag-worry about sa yung iba pang terms. Of course, here you also have to dot pa rin. Pero mas matagal kasi ito, saka mo pa ina-dot. Ito na lang kailangan mong gawin. Alright? So let's move on. So now, here we have a potential theory. So, ano ba itong theory na to? So, some quantity could just be scalar. Diba? So, sa physics, marami tayo pinagdaanan nito. Scalar potential, diba? So, some forces may be expressed as the gradient of scalar potential. For example, you have phi here. Okay? So, ang force actually could be obtained as the negative gradient ng phi. So gradient is just the del times scalar, diba? So negative siya, okay? So again, P is a scalar potential, describes the force by one function instead of 3. Bakit? Kasi usually itong phi is symmetric function, spherically symmetric. Kasi ang force, diba, usually you have to get fx, fy, fz, 3 terms. So itong P kasi usually hindi mo na masyadong problema. Usually, ano siya, mga sine, yung basta spherically symmetric. So kasi kung titignan nyo, a force has 3 components whereas potential has 1. So mas madali siyang, mas simple siya. Okay? Potential determined only to an additive constant. Iba potential, bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng potential? Familiar kayo lahat sa potential difference, diba? Para makapag-describe ka ng electric potential, you have to have some reference, diba? So usually ang ginagawa natin is may reference tayo. So ibig sabihin, yung difference lang yung nagmamatter. Okay? So ano ba yung mga conditions na kailangang makasatisfy ng force para masabi mo na mayroon siyang potential or pwede mo siyang ma-derive from a certain potential. Okay, again, some forces kasi could be obtained from potential, hindi lahat, okay? Okay, so una, meron tayong concept ng work. So work is just the integral ng force dot dr. So that's the position vector from point A to point B. So palitan lang natin. So we have F as negative del phi. So itadat pa rin siya. And as you can see, that product, sorry, itong expression na to is just tawag dito, simple d phi or d phi. So papakita ko sa inyo later kung bakit ganyan. So ngayon madali na siya integrate, magiging phi lang siya, di ba? So you have papalit, so of course phi na lang siya, i-evaluate mo from A to B. Tandaan nyo may negative dito ha. So ang mangyayari siya is phi A minus phi B. Okay? So balikan natin itong expression na to. So you have del phi dot dr. So ito yun. So kukunin mo yung dot product na term by term lang. And of course, dun lang sa pare-parehas na unit vectors. Those are just one. Okay? Okay? So mangyayari, you have ito. So partial p, partial x times dx, partial p, partial y times dy, partial p, partial z times dz is just actually the total dv. So ito na yung kaya nandito tayo sa nakuha natin to. Okay. Let's move on. So ngayon, ano pa? Ngayon nakita natin na yung value ng integral natin is independent of the path. Meaning, yung endpoint lang yung nagmamatter. Kasi tingnan nyo, yung A at B lang. Diba? It doesn't matter kung saan dumaan. Usually, natin dito. Usually, kapag you have to do some work, halimbawa, from point A to point B, there are several path na pwede niyang i-take. So, pwedeng diretso lang, pwedeng pa-curve, pwedeng pa ganyan, pwedeng zigzag. However, in this particular case, ang work, hindi nagmamatter kung ano yung direction mo, yung tinake mo na path. Nagmamatter is yung endpoints. Okay? So, ibig sabihin yan, ang integral ng force that dr is 0 over a closed path. Okay? So, kasi bakit closed path? Kung yung endpoint mo, starting point mo at endpoint is just the same. So, so 0 yung work. Diba? So, walang work nga nangyari doon. Okay? So, here, meron tayong concept ng conservative force. Work is independent of path. Meaning, it doesn't matter kung paano mo ginawa yan as long as nakapunta ka doon. Alright? So, kung kukunin nyo ang curl ng force, so you have del cross F. So, papalitan mo lang yung F ng negative gradient ng phi. So, of course, that equates to 0. Sorry. So, here, requirement is force must have 0 curl. Okay? Ito yung dalawang requirement. So, una, kailangan yung work is independent of path. And then next, we have force must have 0 curl. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Tandaan nyo, when you get the curl of a force, kinukuha mo yung, parang derivative din siya. Of course, derivative siya na bibigay sa'yo ng vector kung saan pupunta. And dapat 0 yun. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo babago. That means conservative dapat. Okay? So, example. Tingnan tayo example. So, pinaka-common is gravitational force. So, pwede tayo magsimula. Let's try to compute the gravitational potential from force law. So, recall this equation from Newton. If you have two bodies, M1 and M2, separated by a distance R. Okay? Uy, sorry. Ay, mali pala dito. Dapat R squared to. Hold on. Okay. So, ngayon, so pwede na i-label siya as F sub G, which is gravitational force. It's just equal to negative G, capital G. It's the gravitational constant from Newton. Universal gravitational constant. M1, M2 over R squared times R hat. R hat is yung unit vector kung saan naman yung direction na yan. And we can simplify this further by setting some constant K as the G, M1, M2. So, magiging na lang siya negative R hat over R squared. Okay? So ngayon, of course, let's assume na mayroon gravitational potential. So dapat mag-exist yung negative gradient ng potential na yan, di ba? So negative del phi of sub g, which is the gravitational potential. So ngayon, pwede natin integrate. So we have, magsimula tayo sa from infinity to certain position r. So you have fg.dr is equal to negative gradient, similar lang sa ginawa natin kanina, ng negative gradient ng phi sub g.dr. Okay? And again, this one is just equal to d phi sub g. And may tanda nyo, may negative dito. So again, just need to evaluate the integral. Madali lang siya. So, nangyayari, you have the difference of phi sub g sa infinity at dun sa r. So ngayon, dahil pwede natin i-choose na reference yung infinity, pwede natin sabihin na yung gravitational potential sa sobrang layo, diba, is hindi na nag-exist. Walang potential dun. Okay? We have 0 here. Okay? And matitira na lang sa'yo ay negative phi g sub r. So ngayon, therefore, the integral of fg.dr is just equal to negative phi g r. Okay? Ngayon, dahil nakuha natin PGR, pwede natin palitan naman, di ba? Pagbalitan natin. Yung PGR, ito yung hinahanap natin kanina, can be just equated to the integral of the force. So we have del gr is equal to negative integral, yung negative malilipat lang, negative integral from infinity to r ng fg.dr. So palitan natin fg, di ba? Meron tayong ginamit kanina. So we have negative k r hat over r squared dr. Now you have two negatives here. Wala na yan. And then of course, idadat mo yung r sa r hat. Same lang ang direction ng dr at r hat. So since r hat is just a unit vector, mawala lang siya. So meaning dr is just r hat dot dr. Ayan na siya. So wala nang dot product. And of course, mariretain lang din yung r squared. So now we have the integral from infinity to r ng k dr over r squared. So madali lang to, constant lang yung k, di ba? So ang integral ng something na 1 over r squared is just negative 1 over r. So tuloy lang natin. So we have, ito na yan. So evaluate natin from infinity to r. Ang nangyayari dyan is negative k over r minus, so that's plus k over infinity. And of course, this will go to 0. Matitira na lang ito. So now, pwede natin sabihin na yung gravitational potential or Vg of r as a function of r, palitan natin yung k, ibalik lang natin. So we have negative g m1 m2 over r. So that is the gravitational potential. And of course, you can get the force again, right? Just by taking the negative del Vg. And makikita nyo naman, madali lang siya, di ba? Derivative lang to. And magiging ano lang to, over r squared. Well, babalik ka lang sa original. So that's shows na tama yung sagot natin. Okay? Ibig sabihin, for gravitational force, there exists, gravitational potential exists. Okay? So now let's move on. Now let's go to vector potential. So, kung natatandaan nyo pa sa mga previous na diniscuss, we have things we call yung concept ng solenoidal and rotational, di ba? So that's related sa divergence and curl. So for divergence free, ibig sabihin 0 yung divergence, solenoidal yung isang vector, di ba? For a vector that is solenoidal, we may impose this property by introducing a vector potential. So ano ba yung vector potential? So let's go here. So for example, you have vector A here. You can assume a vector B exists. Siya yung vector potential, which is equivalent to curl ng A. Okay? So you have B is equal to del cross A. And pwede natin kunin yung divergence. Diba? Divergence na ito. Tapos no kabila. So you have del dot B equal to del cross A. And again, since solenoidal siya, divergence free, kailangan natin equate sa 0. So this particular expression is very important Actually, pwede nyo gamitin to. Kung pamilya kayo, dito is nasa Maxwell equations to. And equal siya sa 0. So, madali siyang, makakatulong siya sa pag-solve ng mga expressions. Okay? Next, if the vector B is solenoidal, again here, diba? So, vector potential, ito yung sasabi ko, A, exists. However, the vector potential is not unique. Meaning, pwede siyang mag-iba-iba. So, pwede mong gawin is, you can add an arbitrary constant, maybe to the gradient or any scalar function, del phi. So, without changing the B. So, ibig sabihin nun, hindi, kung meron kang vector potential, A, you can add anything to here, any constant or scalar function na hindi magbabago yung value ng solenoidal vector mo. So, for example, you have B equal to ito. So, instead of A na lang, gawin natin, dagdagan natin siya ng gradient. So, we have del phi. So, you have del cross quantity A, vector A plus del phi. So, mangyayari dyan is, you have to distribute yung, operate the curl dun sa dalawang to. So, now, curl, you have curl of A and then curl of del phi. So, you have del cross A plus del cross del phi. So, ito is just 0. Okay? Bakit 0? Dahil pag kinuha mo yung sa scalar function, magva-vanish lang siya. So now, matitira pa rin is ito. Babalik ka lang din dito. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, it doesn't matter kung nag-add ka dun sa vector potential. Usually, itong trick na to ginagamit kapag may solve ka na mga magnetic field. Kasi kung familiar kayo dun sa may mga ganun technique din sa math eh. Hindi ko lang maalala eksakto. Pero you have to add something. Tapos parang hindi naman niya binabago yung equality ng equation. Okay? Okay. So, next, tuloy natin. So, now we want to electromagnetic scalar and vector potential pa rin. So, again, if you have a vector potential A, if you choose V equal to del cross A to always satisfy itong, of course, yung divergence pa rin, di ba, solenoidal, we can substitute into Faraday's law. Okay? So, Faraday's law is, sorry, del cross E is equal to the negative partial derivative of magnetic field with respect to time. And ito tandaan nyo, no? Moving magnetic field gives you electric field. All right? And since we assume na ang yung B natin is del cross A, pwede natin palitan. So, magiging siyang negative del cross partial A partial T. Okay? So, pwede natin ilipat sa kabila yung expression na yun. So, now we have del cross E plus del cross partial A partial T, which is equal to 0. And of course, dahil parehas naka-cross to, we can simply factor out yung del. So, del cross E plus partial A partial T is equal to 0. So, this means that this is a vanishing curl free. Since curl free ito, pwede nating isulat, it may be written as a gradient of scalar. So, magiging siyang negative del phi, where yung phi is a function of position and time. So, this is a non-static electric potential. So, you have, yan. Ibig sabihin, pwede natin pakita, of course, yung ginamit natin. So, we still have, B cross is equal to del cross A. And yung E natin will just become, since 0 ito, magsi-0 kasi. So, ito yung pwede mag-0, hindi naman yung del. So, pwede ma-equate sa 0 ito. And now, pwede ka pa rin mag-add. It may be written, sabi nga dito, as a gradient of the scalar. So, you have E is equal to negative del phi, the original, minus partial A partial T. Okay? Sorry, parang kailangan dapat ata ito ng arrow. So, yan. So, note na yung A natin still arbitrary. Okay? So, you may still add a gradient of a scalar. So ito yan. Pero sometimes, zero naman to. So ganun lang din siya. Okay? Let's continue. So meron tayo tinatawag na gauge condition. So sometimes, ito iba pang trick ito. No? So yung form ng A, you can actually specify. So for example, meron tayong tinatawag ng Lorentz gauge. So kung familiar kayo sa equation, ito yung Lorentz gauge natin. So we have 1 over c squared. C is the speed of light. Partial t plus del dot A is equal to 0. So recall Coulomb's law is just del dot E is equal to del dot E is equal to rho over E naught or epsilon naught. And dahil yung E natin kanina is equal to the negative del, kung familiar, kung naalala nyo pa, negative del A minus partial A partial T. So ipapalit lang natin yan dito. Okay, so now we have negative del squared P minus, pwede natin i-factor out actually yung derivative. And ipasok lang ulit natin dito yung del. So del dot A, so derivative mo na siya with respect to time. And of course, balik mo lang to. And now, dahil meron tayong Lorentz gauge, ito yon, pwede natin palitan yung del dot A ng negative 1 over c squared times partial, the partial ng phi with respect to time. So magiging, ano siya, magiging siyang second derivative. So ito yung magiging form ng Coulomb's law. Okay? So kung titingnan nyo, ilagay ito rho over epsilon naught. So ang ginagawa ng Lorentz gauge, dinedecouple niya yung vector potential A and so dinedecouple niya yung vector potential A and scalar phi such that yung P mo is just entirely determined by rho. Makikita nyo yung equation natin kanina is electric field, no? Ngayon, hindi mo na kailangan ng electric field. You only need to get the scalar, the potential. Hindi mo na kailangan ng vector. Sometimes mas madali kasi kunin yung potential, di ba? Di ba sa electric sa 102 mas makukuha mo yung voltage kaysa sa electric field, di ba? So mas madali siyang gawin. So ito na yung magiging equation mo. So you have negative del squared P plus 1 over c squared del squared phi over del second derivative with respect to time is equal to rho over epsilon naught. So ganun lang siya. Mas madali. Okay. Next. So pumunta naman tayo sa Gauss law. Siguro familiar na kayo dito. So Gauss law is just will give you this makuha mo yung amount ng charge depende sa surface. So halimbawa, you have an electric field and you want a certain area or surface. You will have two values. Kapag i-enclose noong surface mo, ito, for example, del V, yung charge Q, ang integral mo is Q over epsilon naught. If hindi, zero. Ganun lang siya kasimple. So, try natin i-prove ang Gauss law. So, let's say an electric field of a point charge Q. So, familiar tayo lahat dito. Magiging lang siyang Q over 4 pi epsilon naught R squared R hat. So, yan lang yung electric field niya, di ba? And case 1, kung yung charge Q mo ay hindi na i-enclose nung volume and of course ng surface, ang mangyayari dyan is yung integral mo is 0. Okay? Case 2, kapag naman nasa loob, okay, so you have a surface here na parang, let's say, spherical. Meron tayo tinatawag na simply connected region. So para kang ini-enclose mo yung surface, sorry, yung charge mo with some surface. So pwede mo i-enclose yung charge mo with a smaller sphere, which is S prime, so or surface. And then of course yung volume is ito na, and of course ito pa rin yung total surface mo. And you have a small radius here, which is the delta, curvy delta. So yun yung inner surface na yun. Ngayon, pwede natin i-compute yung using Gauss law. So you have E dot d sigma is now equal to, of course, sa unang surface muna. Okay, so you have, you have ito mo ng term na to, plus itong nandito sa loob. So you have, of course, meron siyang electric field na equal sa Q over 4 pi epsilon naught R hat. And then of course, since may radius siya ng sigma, curvy sigma, so you have, delta squared. So equals siya sa 0. All right. So now, tuloy lang natin yung pag-solve. So now yung d sigma mo is actually just R hat dA, which is yung surface. And it can be further expressed, yung dA mo is just yung del squared times d omega. D omega is the solid angle, yun yung nandito sa loob niyan. Okay? So ito naman nangyayari dyan. And then, now, mangyayari, consider natin itong integral na to. Okay? So, mangyayari is, papalitan mo lang yung d sigma prime. Ito, na-derive natin. So now you have R hat dot, negative R hat, del squared d omega over delta squared. So, mangyayari dito, 1 na lang. Makaka-cancel yung R squared mo. Delta squared. And matitira is negative d omega. And d omega, the solid angle, if you integrate the whole surface ng sphere, will give you 4 pi. So, since may negative is negative 4 pi. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, now we have, originally, kinukuha natin yung integral, di ba? So, from here, papakuha natin yung value na to. Pwede natin ilipat to, di ba? Dito sa side na to. So, now we have negative q over 4 pi epsilon naught times integral na to. And palitan natin dahil nakuha natin to, which is negative 4 pi. Ibig sabihin, surface integral ng E dot d sigma is equal to Q over epsilon naught. So that is the Gauss law. Okay? So yan na, na-prove natin. Okay. Next. Meron naman tayo tinatawag na Poisson's equation. So, Poisson's equation is related sa second order form ng del. So for a time-independent case, halimbawa, you have the electric field as negative, electric field as a negative del phi, which is the electric potential. You can, balikan nyo yung sa equation na to, divergence ng electric field. So we have del dot E is equal to rho over epsilon naught. So rho is just the charge density, and epsilon is a constant. Okay, I think it's the permittivity of play space. Okay, so now dahil express natin to as del phi, we can put a substitute dito. Okay, and then mangyayari, we have del squared p is equal to negative na punta dito, negative rho over epsilon naught. So ito yung tinatawag nating Poisson's equation. Okay, so if the charge density is 0, okay, magiging special case siya. And ito na yung tinatawag natin na del squared p is equal to 0 is yung Laplace equation. So basically, Laplace equation is a special case ng Poisson's equation. Okay? Derivatives at r equals 0 to for a point charge q at r 0. So yun yung binibigay nitong Poisson's equation and Laplace equation. So, depende kung nasa yung point charge mo. Alright. Sorry, I mean, kung anong klaseng point charge and kung nasa yung charge density mo. Okay? So, meron din tayo tinatawag na Dirac delta function. Bakit kailangan natin to? This is the more general case noong sa Poisson's equation. So, you have negative Q over epsilon naught times delta R. So, itong delta function actually just has two values here, 1 and 0. Ngayon, so, ibig lang sabihin nito, yung charge Q ay nasa R equals 0. And potential for a point charge is ito. So, you have, balikan lang natin, Q over 4 pi epsilon naught times 1 over R. And of course, solve natin. Gamitin natin itong Dirac delta function version ng Poisson's equation. So you have del squared P is equal to negative Q over epsilon naught times delta R. And papalitan lang natin yung phi. So you have here. Okay? And since constant itong mga to, punta dito. So matitira na lang is del squared 1 over R. And ito pa rin sa kabila. So, madali na yan, no? So, pwede natin i-summarize na now you have pag kinuha mo to basically kanina it's just equivalent to di ba yung 1 over R, it's just equivalent to 4 pi, and dahil may Q dito makakancel lang yan natin dito. Epsilon of course yung 4 pi hindi pupunta dito yung 4 pi, and then you still have the delta R. So, pwede itong equation na to, it handles the derivative that does not exist at R equals 0. Bakit? Kasi at R equals 0, yung potential mo, it becomes infinite, seemingly becomes infinite, di ba? Kasi 0 eh. So, basically, you can calculate din pa rin kahit na ganito yung case. Okay? So, ganyan siya importante. And we can also write this as follow. So, you have del 1 squared ng 1 over R 1, 2 is equal to negative 4 pi delta R1 minus R2. So, yung R1, 2 is just the magnitude ng difference ng dalawang vector. So, R1 minus R2. And del 1 implies that the derivative applies to R1. So, the derivative ka to R1. Okay? That's the Poisson's equation and Dirac delta function. Now, let's move on to Helmholtz theorem. So, this theorem, actually may dalawa siyang theorem. So, it establishes yung condition for uniqueness and existence of solutions in time-independent electromagnetic problems. So, yung theorem 1 states that a vector field is uniquely specified by giving its divergence and curl within a simply connected region in its normal component on the boundary. So, yun yung sinasabi niya. Pakita natin. Okay. So, di ba yung uniqueness and existence? So, a vector P is unique if the divergence here, so del dot P is equal to some value S, and the cross product ng del and P is just equal to another vector, non-zero vector. So, are given in a specified volume and P is specified on the boundary. So, ganyan lang yung pinapakita niya. Otherwise, hindi unique yung P. Right? Okay. Now, then the second theorem, Helmholtz, says that a vector P with both source and circulation densities vanishing at infinity may be written as the sum of two parts. So, one solenoidal and one irrotational. So, familiar guys sa solenoidal and rotational. So, you have P is equal to negative del P plus ito yung curl ng A. So, this is general form of any well-behaved vector field. So, usually sa mga electric field or magnetic field. Okay, so ang Helmholtz theorem legitimizes the division of quantities in electromagnetic theory. So pwede mong hiwalay sa irrotational electric field and solenoidal magnetic field. So here. So familiar kayo doon sa diniscuss kanina sa unang theorem. So yung charge density is actually S, can be obtained from a unique vector P as the divergence. So you have S equal to del dot P. Okay? So ito yung form na to is actually similar lang din siya sa del dot E is equal to rho. Okay? This is the charge density. Okay? Current density, however, can be for a given, let's say, vector P. Kung natatandaan nyo pa yung del cross B is equal to some, sorry, hindi ko na ilalagay exact expression, pero is proportional to J, right? So that is the current density. So ito lang yung parang sinasabi ng Helmholtz. Ibig sabihin, unique yung magnetic field doon at yung electric field. Okay? So yan lang yan. Okay, so I think that's it muna for now. Magbibigay na lang ako ng isa pang lecture for next week and yun na yan. Yung iba ko ibibigay ay lecture notes na lang to add doon sa mga kailangan nyo pang topics. Okay? Ngayon, yun na lang muna and I'll be sending yung problem set. Just hindi na ganun kakomplikado. And of course, para din lang matest kung paano kayo mag-solve para mahasa lang din. Kung may questions kayo, you can email me and or chat nyo na ako doon sa Messenger para mas bilis din. And we'll discuss kung ano yung saan kayo nalilito. Okay? So yun lang and thank you sa pakikinig and hopefully may natutunan kayo and dun sa ibibigay ko pa is hintayin nyo lang. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.